Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening as we share about health sciences at BCIT. If you have any questions as we go along, please type those into the Q&A function that you'll find at the bottom of your screen, and we will endeavor to type responses back to you or to answer them live within our presentation as we go along. We're going to start off tonight with an overview of health sciences and all the different things that encompass health sciences, and then we'll move on to some more specifics about some of our different programs and career options within those programs. And now I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Lisa Chu, Dean of the School of Health Sciences. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Erin. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the School of Health Sciences big info session. So what is health sciences? So health sciences cover a whole range of health-related areas, such as patient care in acute care or hospital settings, client or resident care in community settings such as public health, home health, laboratory testing and investigation, community health and safety, for example, in occupational health and safety area, prevention as well as treatment. And also we need to include the diagnostic areas where they help us diagnose medical conditions. So as you can see, BCIT has 32 health sciences programs and lots for you to choose from. And you'll be hearing about each area from the associate deans in a few minutes. Next slide, please. So why choose health sciences? So many of our programs are the only one of their kind in Western Canada. For example, clinical genetics, prosthetics and orthotics, and also some of the areas in specialty nursing, unique and one of their kind in Western Canada. Since we're actually an applied education institution, we have a hybrid blended model of learning and teaching. We teach online, in labs on the campus, as well as in clinical settings. So you will gain a whole breadth of knowledge and skills that will allow you to start your career as soon as you graduate. And also important is that we have very close connection to industry. For example, connections to health authorities for the clinical placements and clinical areas, but also other industries such as in biotechnology and occupational health and safety. So close connection to industry. And almost all our faculty have experience working in industry, and some are even still working part-time in health authorities or in industry, as well as teach part-time here at BCIT. Next slide, please. So is health sciences for you? So a few questions for you to ponder. So are you interested in caring for people or ensuring safety and health standards for our community? Are you able to work independently as part of a team? Do you have good communication skills and aptitude for science and math? And also, do you have keen observational skills? Think about those questions. Next slide, please. So what jobs are available in health sciences? So health sciences jobs are growing at a faster pace than the provincial average. And with an aging population, along with the accompanying increase in chronic conditions, chronic diseases, the demand for healthcare professionals will outnumber the amount of supply. So the demand will actually outnumber the number of people available to fill those positions. So as you can see, there'll be an increasing need and demand for healthcare professionals down the road. And even now, during this COVID-19 pandemic, we're seeing an increasing pace of change as well as an increasing need for innovation. So I'm sure that we'll see other health services positions opening up in the future, different kinds of jobs, different kinds of opportunities for all our grads down the road as well too. For example, as you may be aware, there's a fast need for a vaccine for the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's opening up opportunities in the biotechnology area for some of our grads. So there'll be new opportunities coming up in the future for our health sciences grads as well. 98% of our degree graduates from BCIT are employed in their field or in their areas right after graduation. And with that, I'm going to pass you on to the next speaker.
Thanks, Lisa. And up next, we're going to have Shelley Fraser. Shelley is the Associate Dean of nursing at BCIT. So she's going to talk specifically to the nursing program.
Next slide, please. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to all 335 of you out in the virtual environment. It wasn't that long ago when we were gathered in the halls with many people coming to visit BCIT and the campus, and it's a little different this year, but we're really excited to be able to showcase our School of Health Science programs. So as I was introduced, I'm the Associate Dean of the Nursing Program, and I'm proud to be. A few facts about the program. BCIT has one of the largest Bachelor of Science in Nursing programs in the province. Our program is 3 years. It goes year-round, and so it's considered an accelerated graduation. It's a mix of classroom, lab, and clinical in every term. It also has a very big focus on simulation. So we're part of work at looking at researching and developing simulation, and we're very excited about that. We offer a variety of different experiences to our students in clinical settings, both community-based, in primary care, coming up, and in acute care settings. You also have the opportunity in the later part of the program to choose a specialty, and you'll hear more about the specialties from the Associate Dean in a few minutes. We really have a focus on leadership, and I'm proud to say that prior to coming to BCIT, I worked with many of BCIT grads in the Health Authority. I was always admired of the leadership skills and the skill set they brought to the table. So you're well prepared by the end of the program to enter the field with support. And I can say our NCLEX exam, which is the RN licensing exam, the pass rate for the past 5 years has been over 90, and this past spring it was 96%. So people are well suited to join the profession. Next slide, please. So what makes a successful BSN student or a nursing student? And I think many of the attributes that Lisa just mentioned applied. Effective communicator. It's great if you volunteer or have work experience in a healthcare setting. Leadership skills are critical. That doesn't have to mean be in a healthcare setting. It could be working as part of a sports team or working as a coach, that type of thing. Teamwork is always an asset as well. The ability to manage stress and anxiety effectively. I think in a fast-paced changing dynamic such as nursing, this is essential. But I think you also acquire the skills through your education to feel confident in entering the profession. So it's a balance. And they highlight good math skills. I think it's probably a good science background in high school and then some prerequisites once you graduate. But we could talk about that on the next slide. So entrance requirements, and this is a screenshot just to let you know that you can find all of the information in detail on BCIT's website. If you just go to the nursing landing page, it goes through details about timelines, dates, BSN entrance requirements. And I'll just remind people, any questions that you have foremost in your mind, put them in the chat now. We have our wonderful administrative coordinators, shout out to Dina and Lorene, ready to answer any of your chat questions. And certainly even after tonight, we're available if questions come up as you make your decisions about a career in nursing. So as I said, nursing info site, yes. Thank you. This is a new slide, sorry, that was just added. That threw me a little bit, but if you would like more information about the nursing program specifically, join us, and I will be there. I haven't forgotten, October 20th between 4 and 5, where we'll do an in-depth look at the nursing program per se. That's it. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll turn it over to Kathy Kennedy, the Associate Dean for Specialty Nursing.
Super. Thank you all for joining us this evening. This is fantastic. I think we're always very passionate about the work that we do and happy to share a little bit more information about the programs that we have. So thank you, Shelley, so much for your great information about the nursing program. So what happens in specialty nursing is after you've completed the nursing program and you're registered nurse, then they return to us and we deliver 11 different specialty areas, and you can see them all listed there. Everything from pediatrics up to working in emergency departments and high trauma scenarios and working in critical care environments like ICUs and neonatal ICUs with tiny premature babies and delivering, birthing babies and working in ORs in the perioperative program. So there's so many different areas after you've gone into your nursing career that you can branch off into once you have a little bit more experience under your belt. And we're always happy to have different programs open up and have a bunch of students move through. Our programs are in very high demand, not only right now, of course, with the pandemic, but in general. And so it's very common that we see nurses moving through one and even two different specialties. And as Lisa Chu also correctly stated, we are unique in several of our programs, being the only one that runs those programs in Western Canada, and in some of our programs actually in all of Canada. So we are very proud of that. Ours is also a blended model of clinical experience, lab and simulation experience, and online learning. We certainly have a number of innovative ways that we deliver our content, with our focus really being on that applied education. So we really hope to see you in the future after you move through the nursing program and get a little bit more experience under your belt, and join us in one of our specialty nursing areas. Also wanted to give a shout out to Christy and Nancy, who are answering any questions you may have about specialty nursing in the chat tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Shelley and Cassie. That's great. I'm going to now pass it over to Trina Cardiff, and she is the Associate Dean for Diagnostic Programs. Trina?
Great, thanks. Welcome, everybody. So just to give you an overview, diagnostics are health programs that are crucial in diagnosing, monitoring, or aiding in the treatment of diseases and medical conditions. And can you flip to the next slide? The programs at BCIT include diagnostic medical sonography, which is ultrasound, nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, medical radiography, which is an X-ray tech, cardiac sciences, medical resonance imaging, and health leadership. Next slide, please. What do you need to get into the diagnostic programs? Well, you need strong high school sciences. So things like math, chemistry, biology, and physics are important. Many applicants have previous post-secondary education, which is always helpful. Relevant volunteer or work experience, mostly in relation to commitment to patient care. Knowledge of the profession, and proficiency in English as well. And you're welcome to visit all the program web pages as well, which has admission requirements and a lot more information for you to check out on the website. The program links: cardiac sciences, MRI, and health leadership are part-time programs which allow you to work while attending school. Sonography, nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, medical radiography are all full-time programs. All of these programs vary in length from 2 years to 2.5 to 5 years and result in a diploma, an advanced certificate, or a Bachelor of Science. Next slide, please. The highlight program that we're going to highlight today is nuclear medicine. Nuclear medicine uses biological tracers combined with radioactive material to produce images that help diagnose and manage disease. Nuclear med technologists work in hospitals and enjoy a combination of lab work, hands-on patient interaction, and technical work. And the nuclear med program at BCIT is the only one of its kind in BC. Next slide, please. The diagnostic programs have a lot of info sessions coming up near the end of October, and this is where you can learn more about the programs, related careers, and your opportunities for working where you can work, get your questions answered by faculty. And if you're interested in any of these programs, I encourage you to attend. They're quite informative. And like all the other programs I've spoken tonight, all of these programs are blended from in-class, in-person, and in clinical as well, and online. And thank you for coming. And hope if you have any questions, the chat's open, and there's a few of the program heads from diagnostics programs in there to answer your questions for you.
Oh, Trina, thanks. I'm going to pass it over now to Jeff Dick. Jeff is the Associate Dean for Laboratory and Allied Health Programs. Jeff?
Thanks so much, Erin. Thanks. And hi, everyone. Good evening. Like Erin said, my name's Jeff Dick, and I've got the privilege of working as the Associate Dean with a really diverse and exciting cluster of programs. These are all under the umbrella of Laboratory and Allied Health. And like everyone before me has said too, thanks for taking time out of your schedules to explore what BCIT might have to offer you in terms of your studies and ultimately your career. And like the preceding speakers, I'll try to give you a broad overview of these different programs and professions, and then encourage you to attend one of the program-specific info sessions if you'd like to do a deeper dive. So BCIT's lab and allied health programs include all of these programs listed here. You'll see that the first one on the list is medical laboratory science. I'm actually going to return to an overview of this profession and program after addressing some of the other programs that we have available for you. Starting with clinical genetics. So these technologists work in the diagnosis and treatment of disease at a cellular and a molecular level, and work in major hospitals, private clinics, research labs across the country. This program is open to people who've graduated with a BSc with a life sciences focus, and BCIT's program is one of only 2 of its kind in Canada, and the only one that's in Western Canada. So, and as with most of our programs, it's a combination of lectures and laboratory experience that culminates with a 7-month clinical placement in a working laboratory somewhere in Canada. BCIT's food technology program trains people to use applied science to ensure that the food produced in BC is safe and high quality. Students get hands-on experience in food processing, microbiology, chemical analysis, and the graduates go on to work in food safety, quality control, and product development. Environmental health, this program graduates students to become environmental health officers, or EHOs, who are also known as public health inspectors. EHOs monitor and inspect restaurants, drinking water systems, public pools and beaches, personal service establishments. Another aspect of the EHO role that's particularly important during the COVID era is that graduates are also trained in communicable disease outbreak control and epidemiology. So when you hear news reports about contact tracing, these are the professionals who are actually doing this. BCIT has the only environmental health program in BC, and this 2-year program involves extensive fieldwork and research and finishes with a 3-month practicum at a BC health agency. BCIT's Occupational Health and Safety Diploma and Certificate programs give students the skills they need to start into the world of occupational health and safety in any industry. There's a lengthy list of industries, including agriculture, film production, construction, forestry, basically anywhere where workers need to stay safe. Again, the students receive theoretical as well as practical knowledge for learning the operations of health and safety, but also the business side of anticipating, recognizing, and controlling health and safety and ergonomic and psychosocial hazards in a workplace. And this also includes the workplace infection control strategies that have become so important during COVID. BCIT's Honors in Biotechnology program is offered in partnership with UBC. Students complete part of this degree at each school, beginning with their first year at UBC. Biotech harnesses the life sciences to create products and processes that benefit health both directly and indirectly. So things like vaccine development, stem cell research, green energy research, bioremediation, those are just a few of the areas that biotechnologists focus on. The field of prosthetics and orthotics is a combination of creativity, applied research, and technology. Prosthetists work with those who've experienced limb loss, and orthotists work with those who have an injury or a pathology requiring bracing or support. BCIT's P&O program is one of 2 accredited schools in Canada. This 2-year program includes a heavy focus on the skills and knowledge to become a Canadian certified prosthetist and/or orthotist, as well as weekly clinical rotations, multiple placements, and also a capstone research project. Biomedical engineering applies science and engineering to healthcare and medical devices. Grads help to develop new medical devices and products and also maintain the specialized medical equipment that's used to support patient care. Graduates find work in hospitals, medical device research and development, and manufacturing as well. And last but not least, electroneurophysiology. Our ENPY program is one of 3 in Canada, and students in the program learn the techniques for electroneurodiagnostics, which are used in clinical settings to test the integrity of the peripheral and central nervous system. So the program has extensive clinical experience to make sure that students get the practical hands-on skills in the work of electroneurodiagnostics. Next slide, please. So some of the key attributes for these programs are listed here. And like you've already heard in the context of nursing and diagnostics, I think students who are successful in these programs and the professions bring a keen eye for detail and a demonstrated interest in applied science. As well, 2 of the skills that all these different programs require are an ability to work collaboratively as the member of a team and the ability to communicate clearly. Those are very important skills. The specific entrance requirements for each of them are listed on the individual program pages, and they do vary widely. Some are designed to be accessible for students bringing high school education. Some require particular post-secondary credits, and others require a completed bachelor's degree. Next slide, please. Similarly, the length of time for each program and the credential that it provides vary quite a bit. The large majority are full-time cohort-based programs. The associated credential and the length of the program are listed here. Again, for more detail, check out the program web pages and consider the program-specific info sessions. Next slide, please. And just before I go, I just want to highlight one particular program in the lab and allied area. This is medical laboratory science. So medical laboratory technologists, or MLTs, are an integral part of the interdisciplinary care team. They analyze tissue samples, blood, and other body fluids as part of the diagnostic procedure, which underlies 85% of the decisions about diagnosis and treatment. MLTs work in very diverse settings. In hospitals, they focus on a bunch of subdisciplines, including chemistry, microbiology, transfusion science, molecular diagnostics, hematology, anatomical pathology. And outside of the hospital, they also work in community and private clinics, as well as blood banks and in research. So both within BC and across Canada, there's a really large demand for MLTs. BCIT's program is a 2.5-year program, 4 terms being here at BCIT, and a long clinical term at a hospital or a clinic somewhere in the province. Next slide, please. So again, please think about coming to one of the program-specific info sessions. You can hear more detail about what the program and also the profession entail, and have a chance to have some more of your questions answered. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. And now I'd like to pass it on to our final speaker for Health Sciences section, Colin Harris, who is the Program Coordinator for Forensic Health Sciences. Colin, are you there?
Yes.
There you are.
Hi, thanks everyone. For those of you that are RNs already and are looking for something a little different in your career, or have interest in medical legal issues, the Forensics in BCIT has a lesser known but equally exciting emerging specialty of forensic nursing. So this specialty bridges the gap between medical and legal issues. The most well-known role in this specialty is probably the sexual assault nurse examiner. We provide education in BC to take on this role in healthcare, and forensic nurse examiners are providing care and assisting law enforcement in a wide range of presentations to healthcare, including interpersonal violence, abuse and neglect, and even human trafficking. The forensic nurse examiner education is 100% online, and it's important to note that BCIT's Forensic Health Sciences is Canada's only approved provider of sexual assault nurse examiner education. by the International Association of Forensic Nurses, which certifies sexual assault nurse examiners. The picture there, I should just say, that we just had, yeah, sorry, that's Amy Falkenberg. She's one of our instructors. She's the a coordinator for the forensic nursing program on Vancouver Island Health Authority. So, next slide. So in addition to the forensic nurse examiner education, we also offer a graduate certificate in forensic health sciences, which is a 5-course, 15-credit certificate preparing you for a variety of roles in both healthcare or in even the investigative setting where the application of forensic medical expertise is warranted. Education in forensic health sciences can also lead to employment in areas such as legal nurse consulting, hospital risk management, or in death investigation as a coroner, or in medical examiner systems, or in other investigative agencies such as occupational health and safety and nurse advisors, such as at Work Safe BC. I should say that even though we're within the health sciences, our program is actually situated within the forensic science and technology section if you're looking for that at BCIT. I will be offering on October 13th at 6 p.m. hosting an open Q&A session on forensic health science program and the sexual assault nurse examiner education. So if you have any specific questions or you'd like to talk to me more about this field, I believe Erin is, I think she's already posted a link there for you to sign up. So that's great. And you can also, on the slide there, my email address is there, charris4@bcit.ca if you have any questions. And thanks very much.
Thanks, Colin. And thank you for switching to the next slide there, Leon. I just wanted to also mention that for anyone who is needing to upgrade or get a prerequisite, I know there's been some questions about prerequisites in the chat and about recency of courses. BCIT does offer part-time studies courses in anatomy and physiology, physics and psychology through our basic health sciences department. And there's a link there on your screen to where to look at signing up for some of those courses and what other upgrading courses we have as well. This is a good idea. I know that a lot of our programs do have recency requirements. A lot of programs do require that courses be taken within the last 5 years. So I know there are a few questions about that in the chat. This is where you can go and do some of that upgrading. Next slide, please. And now we are going to look at some of the questions that are in the chat and see if we can answer some of them out loud, but some of them might be ones that are shared by more than one person here. Oh, someone's asking about the info sessions. Where do you find the invites links that will connect you? I actually just put in the chat a link to the info sessions, but if you also go to bcit.ca/info sessions, it'll come up there, and there's a whole list of all the health sciences ones that are coming up. We have, I think, 16 different programs that are doing individual info sessions in about 2 weeks' time, so you can register for those, and they'll be a little bit more in-depth than tonight, and you'll be able to talk directly with the program head or one of the faculty members from those programs. I'm looking at some of the questions to see if there's anything we can share out here. All of those specific info sessions I mentioned earlier are online, the same kind of format as this one. So you will be able to access them online. I know there's been some questions about volunteer hours and whether or not those are still needed for programs that have previously requested volunteer hours in clinical settings. I know that might be a bit different to try and get right now during COVID. Shelley, could you perhaps speak to that at all? Are there any changes to the volunteer hours that are required?
Sorry. Hi, yes, I think I can address that. Certainly, I have seen a few questions in chat about the volunteer hours, and due to COVID, it's very limited in our clinical settings. So we understand that that would be hard to acquire that experience. I don't think we have a set number of hours that people have to achieve. Dina Loreen, please answer in chat if I'm incorrect. We just look for a person that has given back to their community. But in the context of COVID, we would be completely understood that, you know, if you're applying during that period, it would be hard to get health-related experience.
Thanks, Shelley. Anyone from Diagnostics have a different answer, or is that pretty standard, guys?
That's pretty standard.
Okay, thanks, Trina.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Christy. Christy from molecular neurophysiology just said that she also values any work experience with lots of contact with people. So for electroneurophysiology, or ENPY, it's work experience with contact with people. And now we have a question about the BSN program again. Is there a waiting list for the BSN program? Shelley, would you like to respond to that?
Sure. We don't do a wait process. Each intake, of which we have 3 per year of 64 students, is a competition in itself. And we select out of numerous applicants, narrow it down to the 64, and they are the successful. So we have many students that have applied more than once and have got in on their 2nd attempt, but each application is considered a different pool of competition. There's no bringing the candidates forward.
And somebody had a question about specialty nursing programs. How long do most specialty nursing programs last for, Kathy? You can take that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take that. So we offer our specialty nursing programs in 2 different ways. So we do them by distance, where students can take them course by course by course, and that can take approximately 2 years to complete. But we also have a very unique system here in British Columbia, where we have students that are hired by the health authority, so they're already registered nurses, and then they're sponsored to come back in and take our programs, and we do them in what we call a compressed time frame. So students will complete their specialty typically in about 6 months.
Thanks, Kathy.
And it's full-time.
And the next question I have here is, how many sonography students are taken into the program each year? And what kind of experience are we looking for in sonography? Now, I'm not sure if Trina wants to answer that, or I know Ken might be here to answer that.
It's Ken, program head from sonography. Currently, there's 40 students that are in the diagnostic medical sonography program. However, the intake is can be variable depending on clinical seats that are within the clinical sites.
And what kind of experience we're looking for sonography was the other part of that question, Ken?
With regards to like volunteer experience, or?
I'm guessing so.
Yes, so certainly volunteer experience would certainly be an asset. However, much as Christy said with ENPY, it's any experience where they have some direct contact with the general public. Certainly if they do have some work experience where they have a direct role with the general public would also be an asset.
Great. There's actually another sonography question here, Ken, while you're there.
Sure.
Are sonographers in high demand? Now, I think I know the answer to this one, but I'll let you take it.
Yes, they certainly are in high demand in all areas. Certainly that's one area that is certainly growing, and certainly with these positions, there is opportunities to work, certainly on weekends and evenings and in private and public facilities.
Thanks, Ken. Medical radiography, same question. Are medical radiographers in high demand as well?
I can answer that. Yes, they are, and especially in light of COVID as well. They're expanding quite a bit, and there definitely is a need across the province for medical radiographers.
Thanks, Trina. Oh, I've got another good question I'm going to ask you guys. Does the diagnostic radiography program, I'm thinking this is MedRad, also go over CT? Will a graduate be able to land a CT position in the work field? Trina, do you know that one?
Hi,
there is some.
I can answer that.
Go ahead, Denise.
Denise, thank you.
Yes, CT is part of the program, and we are working on restructuring our program right now. So we're increasing the amount of CT that we're teaching, and our students do rotate through the CT areas of the hospitals that we place our students at. It is becoming more and more of a desired tool for diagnostics. So yes, we do.
Thanks, Denise. And maybe you could answer this next question too. What is the difference between medical radiology, but I'm going to assume this is actually radiography, and sonography?
So I can answer the radiography part. With radiography, we use radiation to produce images, usually of bone and soft tissue, and we use that in specific types of equipment. So we can take a plain X-ray, or we can do a CT scan where we can actually look at cross-section of the body. We can do interventional procedures where the radiologists themselves will place wires into vessels to open things up or to block things. And then with sonography, they use diagnostic sound waves. And I think Ken should answer the rest of that one.
Sure. Thanks, Denise. So we use high-frequency sound waves in order to look at soft tissue structures inside the body. So unlike radiography, where you can see the bones, we can't see the bones because that attenuates our sound or blocks it. And but we can look at the solid organs within the body.
Okay, I've got another sonography question for you, Ken. They just keep coming in. With the high competition in these sonography programs, how do students without a degree boost their applications? Any suggestions?
Well, certainly, you know, we look at the well-rounded candidate, that they have, you know, work experience, perhaps volunteer experience, and, you know, it's not just based on education alone, but also their dynamism as a person and, you know, what they've achieved in their career to date.
Thanks, Ken. Mark that one as done. There's a lot of great questions here. Oh, here's a good one for specialty nursing, Kathy. How many years of experience do you need before you apply into specialty nursing programs?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. We do get asked that quite a bit. It is always nice to have some experience under your belt as a registered nurse on a medical or surgical floor. Having said that, though, we certainly do take new graduates that are coming out of nursing school, just graduating into our specialty areas. Typically what we're finding is for a lot of the BSN graduates, this is a second career for them. They've had previous experience working in the medical field in other ways, and so that transition is a lot smoother than it used to be in many years ago. So we don't have a standard requirement that you must have 2 years of experience. We are taking students fresh out of nursing school right into our programs. The demand is just incredibly high in these areas, and they're really looking for you know, nurses that are strong in their field, strong pathophysiology background, and so on, to be able to move through the specialty areas.
Thank you. And I've got another one for nursing, Shelley. How early should you apply to the BSN program before an intake starts?
I think on the program website, you will see when application cycles sit and when they open and close, and apply anytime within that period, and your application will be reviewed in the pool that applies in that time period.
So just to add on to that from Shelley, with the BSN program, there's no advantage to applying in the beginning of that application window or the end of the application, because you're all assessed as a lump, and it's not first come, first serve. So you don't get an advantage of being the first one in. So take time to make sure your application is correct and as good as it can possibly be.
That's correct.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to answer one more sonography question here, Ken, if you're up for it.
Sure.
What secondary courses would you recommend to take to apply for DMS? If I think this person's in high school, so they're looking for any specific post-secondary courses that would be recommended that would help their application.
Well, certainly any human anatomy and human physiology courses would certainly help bolster their application. Also, I think there are some other courses that they can look at through the Berwyn Institute. There is a course that is offered through correspondence or online that goes through introductory ultrasound, and perhaps they can try this course and see if they have an aptitude or suited or like the profession.
Great, thanks, Ken. With that, I'm going to kind of leave people to just type answers into the chat. And I just wanted to close off by again saying, don't forget to register for one of our program-specific info sessions where you can really get those specific questions answered and get specific information about how to get into a program, what it's like to be in the program, and what the career options are after you graduate, and kind of how you go from there. School of Health Sciences at BCIT is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So please follow us. The hashtag we use is hashtag BCIT Health. And we'd love to see some of you online with us so that we could continue to share some of the things that we're doing at BCIT and loop everybody into it. Thank you again for everyone who joined us for this session. We really appreciate you taking the time to come online with us and learn about health science programs at BCIT this evening. Thank you.